Okay, so first things first, let me go check on the cottage. Actually, hang on. I just passed... what was that? I hear the sound of something.
You hear the sound of a child sobbing nearby.
Not today. I'm passing by the treehouse. Somewhere here.
How ingenious! A chimney protrudes from the trunk of the tree.
Someone's home.
You rap on the treehouse.
Someone is home. These lighting effects.
You rap.
Do I have to track down this small child?
You hear the sound.
Awesome.
As you approach, you recognize the child. It is Possum, the little girl you helped earlier today.
Has Grandma revealed some attributes? Like, I don't know, yellow eyes and massive fangs?
You see the little girl crying. What could have happened, and why is she out so late at night?
Are you a werewolf?
You check over the little girl as best you can. She seems free of injury.
Are you all right? What happened?
I went into town to buy some chicken soup for my grandma. I always try to reach home before dark, but this eve I lost my way and was attacked.
Attacked? A wolf attacked you?
No, not by a wolf, a dwarf.
For a moment, you're not sure that you heard correctly.
Oh, we heard correctly.
A dwarf, did you say?
Uh-huh. He jumped out at me, took my food, and then ran away.
Listen, I'm going to try to find this dwarf that you say stole your food. You get back to your grandma, understand?
Possum nods, says a soft thank you, and heads back home.
Right, we need to go to north, very clearly. But what can we do about this door here?
You rap on...
If it's the same as the EGA version, this is where the dwarf lives. How do we get inside? Oh.
You watch as a little man runs out of the door, which has been built into a tree. You surmise that you have found the culprit's home. The vague aroma of chicken soup confirms it. That fiend. What is this? What is this? There's a door built into the trunk of a large tree. It hasn't quite latched and is partially open.
That looks like it's way open to me, but whatever.
Finding the door ajar, you cautiously open it and step inside the tree.
Right, we need to engage in some theft. Oh, it's the same design. We've got the tree or the ladder leading down.
This is a room inside the hollowed-out trunk of a large tree. A door goes to the outside. A narrow ladder leads down through a hole in the ground.
That looks so similar to the original. Holy crap.
The ladder goes down through a hole in the ground.
Alright, let's go. That screen again. Holy crap.
You are in a musty underground passageway. There's a narrow ladder leading. You are in a...
That is identical. This looks a bit better though. Alright, a knife?
A very sharp knife has been stabbed into the table. Its blade reflects the light from the burning fire.
I'll take that.
That's not a knife. The knife you found under a rock one time? Now that was a knife.
Keys?
An old trunk rests in the corner of this hovel.
Is this how we can get our treasure back?
Upon opening the trunk, you find a number of items that the dwarf has obviously stolen and stashed away. Among them are some gold coins. They display the distinctive face of the first king. They could only have come from the magic chest of Daventry.
Ah. But wait, the witch stole the magic chest. and then it ended up with the giant somehow. How did the dwarf get these coins?
These coins each have the distinctive face of the first king. They could only have come from the magic chest of Daventry. The coins are all genuine.
Indeed. There was nothing else in there, but I assume that if we lose any of our treasures, we can now access them here.
You notice the shelf is located quite high up on the wall for such a small dwarf. Then you see the barrel on the table, and things start to make sense. The dwarf must climb on it whenever he needs access to the shelf. There's nothing on the shelf except for knickknacks and junk, neither of which you need. You do not need the heavy pot. Moving the barrel would not be wise. Somebody might know that you are here. The pictures, although lovely to look at, are totally useless to you. It is locked. It is locked.
What's locked?
The elaborate display cabinet sitting to one side of the room looks heavy and expensive. You begin to wonder how the tiny dwarf managed to move it all the way down here by himself without damaging it. You hear the sound of the door creaking, followed by someone descending the ladder in the next room.
Shit.
There is a pot of chicken soup boiling over the fire.
Can I hide here somewhere? Maybe behind the barrel? Maybe behind the roost on the left-hand side? Jesus!
Being caught snooping around someone else's house usually has a negative consequence. Did you learn nothing from your experience with that witch last year?
I learned that we could push her into the fire. Okay, we need to either be extremely quick here or we need to find somewhere to hide. Maybe I can hide in the trunk? I don't know why I'm calling it a trunk instead of a chest.
There is a pot of chicken soup boiling over the fire.
Okay, let's grab that.
You grab the handle of the bubbling pot of chicken soup. You take it with you.
Yeah, we need that to cure Grandma.
Upon opening, among them are...
Okay, I've got the stuff. Can I get out of here in time?
The stock... Those hats wouldn't fit you, fortunately. The stocking hats of the dwarf are sitting on the table. The fire crackles merrily in the fireplace.
Can I light the candle?
You can think of no immediate use for the candle, so decide not to light it here.
I can, but I can't.
You suspect it to be very hot and wisely decide not to touch it. Ouch, this fire is hot. You're going to burn yourself. That's not a knife.
I want that knife. Maybe I just need to be fast.
You hear the latch fall into place again as the door closes behind you.
Okay, let's head to Grandma's place, the cottage. There may or may not be a wolf in here.
You open the...
One moment.
You open the mailbox, but find it empty.
Okay, so presumably she has seen the letter.
Welcome. Come in, please. Possum told me to expect you.
It is a simple yet comfortably soft bed. It is covered by a decorated quilt. The bed is indeed as soft as it looks. The bed... Grandma looks pale and weak. She must be ailing. She's dressed in a warm flannel nightgown. White curls peek out from her flannel nightcap. Watch it. Whatever she has might be catching. Grandma looks too weak to talk at length. Perhaps there's a way to make her feel better.
Okay, fine.
It is a little too cold to be serving to frail old ladies.
What? Okay. That makes sense.
You place the now cold chicken soup over the crackling fire once more. After it heats up to eating temperature, you remove it again.
Busy work.
You offer the soup to Possum's grandma, introduce yourself, and wait courteously while the frail elderly lady eats the nourishing meal. When she is finished, she sets the empty bowl down elsewhere and turns her attention towards you.
Anything?
Grandma, look, watch it.
If you would like to speak with me for a while, I would welcome your company. A person should never turn away a visitor, especially when she reaches the twilight of her life.
You can't help but feel a sense of finality in the old woman's words.
You must have something in return for your kindness. You do not need to risk your safety for an old, worn-out woman like myself. Look under the bed. You should find something to keep you a little warmer on a cold night like this.
Cloak and the ring, perhaps?
You peer under the bed and find a thick black cloak. Lying atop it is a beautiful ruby-encrusted ring. You pick both up with reverence.
I could not possibly take these fine things from you.
Oh, please. I want you to have them. Nights in Kolima are cold, believe me. As for the ring, well, perhaps it is better that I do not have it to remind me.
As you wish.
Yeah, I've got questions for you. I really do.
The ring is gold with an enormous red ruby. The word beloved is engraved inside the gold band.
Not CD this time.
You are now wearing the beautiful ruby ring. The black cloak would fit a taller man than you. The black cloak is a fine garment. It feels thick and warm. The inside is lined with red satin.
Can we wear that?
With a flourish, you fling the black cloak around your neck and fasten it.
It actually changes our appearance. Is that taken out of King's Quest V? I think it might be, but it's been a while.
You have a charming young
Oh wow,
granddaughter.
the portrait changes.
Grandma smiles at you graciously.
She is a treasure to me. I would do anything to ensure that no harm comes to her.
If I may inquire, what became of her parents?
Grandma frowns, and her eyes darken for a moment before she forces a melancholy smile to her face.
They were lost to us many years ago. I am afraid dear Possum never really knew her parents.
It must have been a daunting task raising a child by yourself, especially at your
At my age? I am certainly not as young as I used to be, and there is no shame in that. I have tried to raise her as best I could to keep her safe and well. However, I fear that as of late the reverse has become truer.
This is rough though, because if you're on your way out, she's not going to have anyone.
If you please, I was hoping you might tell me of the cloak and ring's origin.
The old woman closes her eyes as if the memory she seeks is painful to her senses.
They were my husband.
Oh,
He was a proud man, the last of his line. His family had been rich, a great deal of old money, you might say. They lived in that castle you might have seen to the north. Its location upon that island is evidence of how much they valued their privacy. He was a good man, my husband. He took care of me. Certainly he had his strange habits. Most men do, if you will pardon me for saying so. I suspect that he practiced magic, so I could never catch him in the act. He would frequently journey afar, taking that black cloak with him wherever he went, to places he would not talk about. He said that it represented something important to a certain group of people, and that I was never to mention it to anyone. But he was always there for me, always, until that fateful night.
why the music change?
We had been married just over a year, and I was heavy with child. We were both out walking in the weirwood forest late one night. The air was warm, and in our youth we paid little attention to the world and its many dangers. Besides, there was a full moon. We could see clearly enough. A shadow passed over us. We looked up, thinking it might have been a stray cloud. It was not. Descending upon us like a demon was the largest, most hideous bat I had ever seen. Its fangs were bared, and it dove straight for me. I must have screamed. My husband flung himself in front of me to protect me. He swung his arms about frantically in hopes of warding the horrid thing away. Perhaps he was trying to cast a spell, but could not recall how in his panic. It paid him no heed and would not be deterred. It swooped again and again relentlessly. At one point, my husband's hand must have clipped the bat's wing because it lost control and crashed into his shoulder. He tried to wrest the foul creature away, but then he shrieked suddenly. The horrid thing had bitten him.
And that, boys and girls, is how you get vampires.
He never did recover from that incident. He just faded with each passing hour. Within 2 days of the attack, my husband had died. We buried him on his family's plantation on the island. Sometimes when I sleep, I can feel him watching over me, guarding me, protecting me. I think he is waiting for my time to come so we can be together always.
The old lady seems to be dozing off. You can barely hear her final words.
I miss him so.
Telling the story has clearly taken a great deal out of her. You watch the old woman a moment and notice her labored breathing as she sleeps. Despite the little girl's tireless daily efforts, perhaps there's nothing more to be done.
There was a lot to unpack there. Firstly, yes, I'm a man, and yes, I've got some weird habits. Secondly, she said, my husband never recovered. And that he died like 2 days later, 48 hours later. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense when you say he never recovered. You'd expect there to be a much lengthier time of him living and, not recovering from his disease.
Grandma has fallen asleep. Watch it, whatever. The elderly lady has fallen asleep. You have no desire to wake her.
But I assume he's alive and well, or that he got up and he's now stalking the island.
The painting on the wall looks like an artist's depiction of the Kalima landscape. You wonder who painted this. It is a portrait of a young man. He looks somewhat familiar.
Who is that supposed to be?
Possum's grandma obviously values that portrait. Otherwise, it would not be hanging here. The painting is hanging perfectly straight. You have no reason to move it.
Is that Possum there, or is that her clothing?
The little girl is fast asleep.
Can I touch her?
The little girl is sound asleep. Do not wake her. The little girl... A chest of drawers sits by the bed. It's not polite to search through other people's drawers. You should know better than that, Graham.
Have you not played any JRPGs, dude?
There's no time for sitting around, Graham. You have important things that need doing. A beautiful vase is filled with pretty flowers. Don't take the flowers. Such behavior is generally considered to be rude. The table looks like an expensive piece of decor. You decide not to get your hands all over it. A rearrangement of the room's simple furniture might not be appreciated. There's no... That would burn. What did you expect? That... You feel as if you could curl up on the mat like a cat. Then remind yourself that you have an important task ahead of you. Keep the windows closed. The night air is cooling rapidly.
I don't think there's anything else in here.
You can see the beach when you look out the window.
Beachside view. Meanwhile...
Sister Agatha, my dear, tell me you have good news.
The king has arrived in Kalima, father.
That is not what I meant.
Yes. Well, he appears to be quite resourceful. It seems his reputation was not totally exaggerated.
He's still alive?
For now, but that will change soon, I think.
You think?
The king has discovered that one of the gems he seeks is in the possession of a colleague of ours. Do you remember? Kaldor.
Yes. Is he still trustworthy?
Totally. Still sharp, and there's no questioning his loyalty. My humblest apologies, Father, but would it not have been simpler for you to have dealt with Graham personally?
Fool! Imagine the ensuing chaos where Daventry's king murdered in his own land. How then would I be able to search for the item?
I see.
What item?
Failure is not an option.
Understood, Father.
Keep me informed, preferably of good King Graham's death.
Yeah, that's definitely the father's voice that we heard in the trial up in the clouds. But I suppose we can go back to the cave. The security system is in place. We can't go there. Alright, it's super late, so I need to take a brief break. So let me just try entering the cave. I'll take another look at my map and see if there's anything else to be done. But I've got a feeling it might be time to go to the swamp.
You saw black glow.
The cloak and the ring do not protect us. Right, we have a shooting cube. We have some coins. I don't know what they're going to do.
These coins each have the...
We have the 2 gems. Everything else looks relatively old. The youth potion was optional, wasn't it? We did not need to pick that up. And yeah, whatever that library card does, I think I've missed that. Alright, so let me take a look at the map, give this some thought, have a rest. I'll be back in a sec. And by that I mean I'm back right now. Let me just take a very quick look at this baby tree before I go to the swamp. Something about that tree is bugging me. The worst part is I'm not even sure what. So the monk and the werewolves want me to grab this thing because reasons. Hagatha is involved. Maybe the lady at the cottage knows what we're up to. There's so much stuff happening in this game.
A healthy baby tree grows near the spring.
What the hell can I do with this tree?
There's no...
Nothing strikes me as being usable with the tree.
You throw one of the coins high in the air. Whatever God wants, he can keep. These coins each...
There's 2 coins there, but clearly we've got more.
Brandishing your...
That tree looks so out of place.
You... The gold...
Alright, so let me load outside Hagatha's cave, and I'll be back in a sec. Right, I'm back. It's been 2 days. I've got nothing. Let's go to the swamp. If indeed I can find a swamp. There we go. So nothing has changed here. There is no ferryman this time. And last time I came here, it seemed all random. Like if I go back now and then go north, that should take me back to the entrance. But it doesn't. It mentions something about following screams, I think? Or following a howl? But I'm not hearing anything specific. So I'm really not sure how to negotiate this place. Oh my god, can I get out of here or do I need to load? There we go, warehouse. But yeah, it seems totally random which way we have to go. We're not back at the entrance yet. We just bypass that screen there. Wow.
The meadow becomes rather sickly and ominous in this area. The faint odor of something unpleasant wafts from the eastern clearing.
I can't actually go north there. I'm surprised we just straight up skipped that screen to the north. That was weird. Not hearing any voices, not getting any clues as to know whether I'm going in the correct direction or not. This seems totally random and we could be here a while.
The dark water looks foul, and it reeks of something even fouler. You strongly suspect that it may be tainted by poison.
Yeah, we know that from the first game. Let's not drink it. Not right now, anyway. Where am I going? That's back at the entrance. Okay, this is not where I want to be. Very clearly. Okay, what am I doing wrong? I'm trying to hide the fact, but I'm trying to follow these directions here.
You read the Bible page again. Spiders earnest with spindly eight spin webs with negligible weight.
Those are clearly compass directions, chat.
It is a shiny silk. Spiders earnest with spindly eight spin webs with negligible weight.
Those are clearly compass directions. Very clearly. North, east, southwest. So I thought maybe I had to start here, in which case we're going south. Then east. Then west. Then south. Then east.
You spiders earnest with spindly eight
Yep.
spin webs with negligible weight.
Southwest, west, northwest. So south, west. And this one took me to the start of the swamp section. We just straight up bypassed the first screen. Or was it here? Okay, maybe this will work. There we go, Jesus.
From here, you cannot make out much detail. However, it is unquestionably a castle.
Oh, I need to go back and watch my footage because I'm pretty sure I did that first time and we rocked up outside the swamp.
Large gnarled trees spiral up from the ground. Sizable rocks offer the illusion that you might find rest here. There is no way that you are going to stretch out on a rock here. These trees would not be easy to climb, and you have an uneasy feeling that they might not be as passive as they appear. You hold out your hand and pretend you are holding the castle in your palm.
We've all done that. This guy again. The spooky ghoul.
The dark haze of the sky here makes it difficult to determine what time of day or night it is. Not even the moon can penetrate whatever conceals this area.
What is this stuff up here?
Due to the cessation of any further tree growth to the north, the canopy-like cover ends here at the edge of this lake.
I see. There's a tree on the right-hand side there, off-screen, and it's stretching its branches out over there. Got it.
The castle looks cold and forbidding. Several sinister towers rise from it, like jagged rocks. Beyond that, it is difficult to see any details from here. You wonder if this place is still home to anyone, or anything. The twisted, leafless trees around the castle look worse off than the ones you have been walking through. Though they are difficult to make out from here, they seem to have been affected greatly by the poisoned water. A thick mist rolls in from all sides, obscuring the sky. It's hard to tell whether it's day or night here.
It's nice.
Various plants grow here. That nature would otherwise forbid them life in such an environment is demonstrative of a strong magical energy which permeates this swamp.
Demonstrative? Never heard it pronounced like that before.
A rope is tied to the stick and rowboat on either end, preventing it from drifting away.
Can we cut the rope?
The dark water looks... Some hollow reeds grow here. That nature would otherwise forbid them life in such an environment is demonstrative of a strong magical energy which permeates this swamp.
That's different from this one.
Various plants grow here. That nature...
Various plants and hollow reeds. Can I grab one of those? Oh, I can.
You tug forcefully at one of the reeds until it finally breaks free. You put it away and carry it with you.
I'm glad I saw that. Wow.
You are standing on a small peninsula, which ends abruptly a short distance to the north. Further passage in that direction is blocked by an impassable lake of poisoned water.
Is it really impassable?
You do not need another reed, Graham. You feel the poisonous waters seep.
We can't even drink it.
It is impossible to reach the castle from here without meeting a quick death in the vast, poisoned water ahead. Considering that these plants are being kept alive through means beyond nature, you think it unwise to disturb them. For some reason, these are possibly the first leaves you have had no desire to pluck from their branches. You cannot reach those trees from here.
What if this reed? Can we use it as a snorkel or something?
It is a reed, which naturally has a hollowed-out middle.
As a straw, perhaps?
This item cannot...
Can I give you the youth potion?
The boatman does not consider that a form of payment.
Oh, we need to pay him. Alright.
The twisted stick forms part of an anchor for this boat. The small wooden rowboat looks rotted from exposure to the poisoned lake. The shrouded ghoul looks very frightening. His hands are little more than claws, and his face is nearly completely hidden inside the hood of the shroud. He is standing in a small boat.
That's Scythe, though. I can't look at the Scythe.
The shroud.
Can I kill him?
How canst thou kill that which is already dead?
Then who was Phone?
You have no reason to sever this rope, Graham. No way. Someone might not be happy if you were to remove that rope without permission, and that someone may well not be happy at you. Best not tamper with it. Move the stick and the boat will float away. If that happens, there may be consequences even you care not to think about. As you prepare to climb into the boat, the boatman extends his claw-like hand to you. Obviously, he no longer gives free rides. No.
Boatman, I need passage. I said...
I heard.
What's wrong with your face?
The ghoul's voice chills you to the bone. It speaks with a deep, resonating bitterness. You cannot make out a great deal of its face, but what you can see has the hairs on the back of your neck standing on end.
In life, I would row this boat for the master. Long ago was my untimely death in these waters, but still I remember many things. Laughter, tears, joy, pain.
I can't determine if this thing is terrifying or a T-800 ripoff.
May I cross, Sir Boatman?
You have come to raid the Master's house.
Not untrue.
This I know, but care not about. You should be warned, though. The Master is not what he once was. Never has this land known a kinder, more compassionate, and nobler ruler than he.
But he's changed.
But his fate has long since been decided. Down a dark path he now treads, and he feels naught for anyone nor anything, save for one other. And even that is a rare trait for a Nosferatu.
You freeze. Neither the Door of Destiny nor Neptune mention this count as being undead.
Ram is learned. Okay.
If I may ask, Sir Boatman, how did the swamp come to be here? Is it natural?
No. The ground you stand upon was once farming land and dwellings for the peasantry.
How did it come to be like this?
A score of years passed after the Master died, and a great morass opened up, covering the surrounding land with slime and poisoned water. Once rich and fertile, now it is no longer.
Not long ago.
The Count has caused this?
It is believed so, for why else would his own castle be spared?
Ah, thank you, Sir Boatman.
Flawless logic, nothing wrong with that.
The boatman has nothing more to say.
We can't get on.
As you prepare to...
So, if I show you my identifying ring, which identifies me as part of a secret society or maybe just a complete arsehole,
The ring is gold with an enormous ring.
maybe you'll let me come through?
The boatman does not consider that a form of payment.
What about my library card? Are you interested in my library card?
The boatman...
I can give you the brooch, maybe?
The boatman accepts your payment and motions for you to climb into the boat.
But we lose a point for that. I'm just hitting escape if I can skip this because I want to go back. The brambles. Fucking brambles. Okay, what can we give this guy to pay him?
The boatman...
I really thought that would be a good answer if he's talking about his past, laughter, joy, that sort of thing, but apparently not. What about this emerald?
The boat...
What about one of these sacred gems?
The boat...
Yeah, okay.
These coins each have the distinctive face of the first king.
But this currency would not mean anything to the denizens of Kalima.
The boatman accepts your payment and motions for you to climb into the boat.
And yet that is the answer. We got a point for that.
The shrouded ghoul paddles across the toxic lake to the shore on the other side.
I haven't done my editing yet, and I didn't keep my map up to date with the church and whatever else. Where did I get those coins? I don't actually recall.
The thorns and brambles are sharp. The shrouded ghoul... A flash of blinding lightning pierces through the hazy sky, bathing the island in an unnaturally frightening glow. Gnarled, twisted trees seem to reach out to anyone foolish enough to walk too close. Then again, maybe it's just your imagination.
Sir, this place is super scary. Can we leave?
You climb back into the decrepit rowboat, and the shrouded ghoul ferries you back across the lake. You climb into the decrepit rowboat.
Okay, we can come and go as we please.
The shrouded ghoul paddles across the toxic lake to the shore on the other side.
Can I walk this way? I can't walk towards the trees. So, it may...
Ouch! You feel the sharp brambles graze your skin. Your vision blurs and you begin to feel lightheaded.
It's not possible.
You feel a heavy coldness run through your entire body. Soon you are unable to stand. Finally, even your eyes become too heavy to keep open, and they close for the last time.
Sounds like me trying to go to bed every night, dude.
The thorns and brambles are sharp.
So we were told to consume this by the Pegasus or the Disciple of the Cloud.
After swallowing the magic sugar cube, you get a feeling of invincibility.
Once again, that is just sugar having an effect.
The sharp thorns brush against your skin. However, instead of feeling intense pain, you only experience a slight tingling sensation. Evidently, the magic sugar cube did its job.
Excellent. Because I do not fancy trying to negotiate this path. The ghosts.
The ghosts waver, as if being threatened by even the slightest breeze, yet something holds them in place. It may be nothing more than an intensely strong determination or sense of purpose that keeps the spirits anchored to this world. The main entrance to the castle is a set of heavy wooden doors. It looks to be fairly solid. It also looks to be entirely unwelcoming. The castle's main entrance is as foreboding as the rest of this island. Everywhere you look, you feel the overpowering urge to turn around and leave this place.
I've already done that once, but unfortunately that doesn't help me progress with the game.
Dead, twisted trees stand near the castle with curled, claw-like branches. The castle's...
Can I go right here? No. Can I touch the ghosts?
As they are non-corporeal, your hand would pass right through them.
This lightning, though.
Climbing these trees rates highly on your don't want to do that list. The walls might be scalable, but you aren't desperate enough to want to try that. Not at the moment. You can't eat your way into the castle, and no one will hear you if you yell at it. They couldn't talk when they were alive, so you imagine that situation hasn't improved much since.
Have you folks got anything to say?
When you speak to the ghosts, they utter a mournful wail. When you speak to the ghosts...
So both the robe and the CD ring or the cross should protect me from this.
As you approach the ghosts wearing the black cloak, they seem to notice you, and then begin to drift away towards the cemetery.
Just the cloak, okay. Also, we have a cemetery on site. Lovely. What if I take the cloak off?
You remove the black cloak again. The ghosts descend on you, sucking the life force right out of your body.
Kinky.
Maybe you're taking the can't beat 'em, join 'em philosophy a bit too literally.
So in the original, the cross could protect us as well.
As you approach...
But this time, we absolutely need the cloak.
As you reach to push the massive doors open, you realize there are no handles. The only thing visible is a small keyhole, which slightly resembles a cross.
Speaking of... Does this fit?
Having an idea, you push the crucifix into the cross-shaped keyhole. It fits. You hear a click, and the door unlocks.
That's different.
You push the heavy wooden door open, take a deep breath, and step nervously inside the castle entrance. The moment you enter the great hall of the castle, you begin shivering uncontrollably, and not just from the cold. This place has an air of death wherever you go. As if creeping around this huge castle was not enough, knowing full well that an undead creature resides here would unnerve even the most stout-hearted of adventurers. You feel desperate to get what you came for, and anxious to leave as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I'm suffering anxiety as well. I've started drawing another map. Don't know if we need it or not though. So we have a path there, maybe a path here. West Tower, East Tower perhaps? But that statement, does that mean we can get ambushed at potentially any time? I hope not.
The Great Hall of the castle is a large room, quite regal in appearance, even in its simplicity. You can imagine that, in days long since past, this would serve as an impressive welcome area to guests and visitors. You suspect that such a grand entrance would be experienced by few, if any, nowadays.
Once again, who's maintaining the candles?
You admire the twin chandeliers. You decide that you simply must have replicas made for your own throne room someday. The portraits on the wall depict the couple who once lived here. They look young and proud. Behind the mask of apathy that comes with aristocracy, there's a certain kindness in their eyes.
Does she look familiar?
The portraits... Some barrels and boxes have been stacked here. You presume they are just storage containers, nothing to be concerned about. The Great Hall of the You suspect that... The Great Hall of... The fireplace looks as if it has not been used in quite a long time. You shudder, both from the cold and from the thought that the resident likely has no need of a warm house.
That's a fairly astute observation.
There is no wood, and as such, you cannot start a fire. A grand staircase runs up the left side of the Great Hall.
What about the right side?
A grand staircase runs up the right side of the Great Hall. Tall stone pillars stretch from the floor to the ceiling. As you peer down the hallway, you see numerous doors on either side, all locked most likely. At the far end, the corridor appears to open into another room.
That might lead to the dining room and or the basement. Let's check out these towers first. Okay, this looks very familiar.
Narrow stairs ascend into a room above. There's little light here to see by. The stairs are only a little damp and not too difficult to walk on.
That sounds like a challenge.
An old shovel rests against the stone wall. It looks well used. You take the shovel into your possession.
Can definitely fit that into our cloak.
The shovel has a wooden handle with a thick metal spade on the end.
Let me just check this. I'm still wearing this, right?
You play.
Yep.
A torch has been mounted to the wall here. It does little to cheer up the place, even when lit. You are unable to remove the torch from the wall.
Expected. So let's light the candle. And hopefully there's no mechanic, there's no time mechanic where this thing can run out before we complete the game.
You hold your candle up to the blazing torch. It catches. Your candle is now lit. The wax candle burns brightly. Hot wax drips onto your finger. Ouch! You attempt to mold the candle into a wax miniature, but the candle remains unimpressed.
I was just going to ask if we could extinguish it.
You attempt to...
Alright, fine. Can I fall off this staircase? No, okay. Nothing?
The window looks out onto the island far below. Through it, you see that the bricks of the castle might provide some footholds if you are inclined to go climbing.
Really? We can go out here and climb?
Unnaturally pale light illuminates a small area of this tower.
That's called moonlight.
The stairs spiral steeply downward.
Can I really go out here?
You are not desperate enough to climb out the window. You can exit through the front door. You are not...
If for whatever reason I can't exit through the front door, maybe this is an escape route.
The window looks out. The window...
It's unusual that this place exists and there's nothing to do, okay? Just making a note of that. Another staircase with a torch. Here's the dining room. No ham today.
It is a long dining table completely covered with dust. Scratches scar the legs of the table. This is evidently the dining room of the old castle. It is still as drafty here as it is everywhere else, so you imagine yourself declining an opportunity to dine in this room. A chandelier graces the ceiling and adds a small degree of light and warmth to this dingy, drafty room. A chandelier, tattered red velvet curtains hang either side of the northern room. The northern arch opens into a room beyond. You cannot discern any details, though. 8 chairs have been placed around the table. You have a hard time imagining a joyous company of people celebrating in this cold room. You don't have time to sit around. It is a long... Climbing onto the table might look briefly heroic, then it would look silly.
True.
They feel dusty and worn, but still soft. That settles it. You have to get these for your own castle.
Maybe in King's Quest 3.
The stairway beyond appears to lead down into the dark depths of the castle.
Into the basement, perhaps. Where would that lead? Maybe into the other tower with the chest.
The northern arch opens into a room beyond. You cannot discern any details, though.
Let's go to the basement first.
A foul stench wafts up from the gloomy darkness into which the stairs descend.
I will do a very quick check later to see if I haven't got the lit candle yet, or whether this room changes.
These stairs are narrow and slippery. Both sides slope away precipitously.
There's some good language in here, chat.
It leads back into the dining room.
Way better than me.
The staircase beyond is very dark.
There we go.
Fortunately, your candle provides just enough light to see where you are going.
Can't fall off the stairs. I assume that CD's coffin is here.
Narrow, slippery stairs descend into this empty room. Your nose detects a foul odor coming from a doorway to the west.
Just making notes.
A torch has been mounted to narrow. Beyond the arch, you can barely see a room with a vague shape sitting at the center of it.
It's in the center. Alright, let's do this. Hopefully nothing goes wrong.
There is a beautiful ornate coffin to one side of this eerie room. Dust is everywhere, cobwebs fill the corners, and a sickly odor permeates the air. The torch helps very little to illuminate this damp and dimly lit room. There is a beautiful ornate.
Nothing else.
A raised stone dais has been built for the sole purpose of keeping the coffin off the ground. Presumably, this makes it easier for the coffin's occupant to climb in and out. The thought gives you the shivers. The lid of the beautifully carved coffin is closed.
Okay, let's do it.
The thick black cloak that you are wearing hampers your efforts to lift the coffin lid. Try removing the cloak first.
Why would that make a... I do have a couple of restrictive jackets, so yeah, okay, I understand.
You remove the black cloak again. Nervously, you lift the heavy lid of the elegant coffin. You peek into its red satin interior. The coffin is unoccupied, and you feel relief wash over you.
No. That's not good. Any significance to that, Ras? If CD is not here, then that means he's wandering around somewhere. That's not good.
As you prepare to look inside the coffin,
King Graham, I presume.
You turn on your heel. There, blocking the only exit from this dismal room, stands the Count. His skin is pale, his eyes jet black. He wears a black cloak nearly identical to the one that you possess.
You know me?
Ah, yes indeed. Sister Hagatha alerted me to your arrival, dear king.
That accent, though.
In an instant, you are flat against the wall. The Count has you pinned so well you can't move a muscle, much less put up a defense. You can feel the Count's iron-cold hand on your throat. You have barely seconds before the inevitable happens.
I'm happy twice.
The Count has you helplessly pinned against the wall. The thirsty gleam in his eyes doesn't inspire your confidence. You do not look one bit happy about your situation. Quite reasonable considering the fact that you can barely move. You can't make any significant movement, not one that'll help you escape anyhow. There is no way you would be able to wrestle free from his grasp. His hold feels like cold steel. You dare not utter a sound. The Count no longer appears interested in humoring your delay tactics.
Let's see what happens.
You feel two sharp pricks in the side of your neck. Soon after, your mind succumbs to unconsciousness as your precious lifeblood seeps away. Down for the Count?
Indeed. I mean, we didn't find a bride, but the Count found a friend. So, there's possibly a couple of things I can do here. I was very late on the reaction to talk to him when he came into the room. I could possibly talk to him there. I suspect I need to do something as he is pinning me to the wall. But having said that, maybe I need to explore the rest of the castle first. Maybe there's going to be an item that helps me here. Because honestly, the only thing I could think of was using the stake and the mallet. But that does not seem like an option if he is not in his coffin.
This is just a small storage room. Rows of red wine barrels are neatly stacked and piled along the wall. At least you think they contain wine. Seeing nothing else of real importance, you head back into the dining room.
Baited.
This is...
I thought that would be a huge room. Okay, let's try this path. Is that going to lead me towards the cemetery, perhaps? Ooh, a library.
This is a grand old private library. You can imagine that the literature contained herein would make the town library pale in comparison. The bookcases extend all the way to the high ceiling.
Is there a quill and ink here?
This marble bust must be of a past Count. While it has some resemblance to the current one, the face looks markedly different from that of the town statue. The bust, being made of marble, is smooth and cold to the touch. 3 candelabras provide some welcome illumination in this otherwise dark and dismal castle.
The illumination is nice, but man, those things are fugly.
This bookcase appears to recount the entire family history of the past Counts of Colima. The line apparently dates back many, many centuries. These books pertain to the ever-expanding world of science. As you skim over the titles, you see one that says, Evidence of a Spherical World. You shake your head. What will they think of next?
I can't believe it. The map is a square, chat.
This would appear to be the classic fiction section. It is a collection of literature dealing with the arrival of the first mages and what became of their descendants, who were and are all mages themselves. Evidently, the Count must be one such descendant, hence his apparent interest in the subject. These books.
Okay, can I grab any books?
You are not interested in a family history lesson. Perhaps another time. Science has always been a controversial subject in your mind. You'd rather hang on to the perception of the world that you were brought up with. You have no interest in any of these books right now. Even though you would like to read up on how Daventry's own first king arrived with the others of his kind, you have more important things to do right now. You have no need to hide behind the curtains.
Not now, but maybe later?
Velvet curtains drape down along each side of the end bookcase, adding a certain charm to the room. This marble bust Presumably, these pillars add support to the bookcases. Considering how huge said bookcases are, you're glad the pillars are in no danger of toppling.
Alright, so I think what I need to do is trigger the cows, but I'm not sure what to do after that. I keep calling him CD accidentally and having to edit that out. He's not CD, he is the cows.